My name is Anastasia. I am from Pick Consulting. That part's probably obvious. We are Monday.com Silver Partners. What that means is we work with the software Monday.com and we make it work better for you. So we work on optimizing it. We worked on training you, on building things in Monday that make it just work better for your business. So that's what we're all about. Now, today's webinar, we've got a lot to get through in the hour, so bear with me if some of this does go a little bit fast. There will be a recording. Today's webinar is all about time tracking apps. There are a number of them out there. We've picked some of the more common ones to cover off today. Being the Monday native time tracking, which is already there, ready for you to use, Tracket, 7Pace, and Hero Coders. So, which is Clockwork. So you'll hear me probably saying Clockwork instead, but it doesn't actually say Clockwork on the logo there. So that's that last purple one there. So we'll go through just a bit of a demo. I have some pre-recorded videos on most of them, just in case my streaming went a little bit choppy, as it sometimes does on Zoom. But also I've got a bunch of feedback that our implementation specialists or our tech team, the guys that do our building and optimizing, I've got some feedback from them that I'll share with you along the way as well. Because I don't build, they don't let me build, I break things. So I don't tend to build things in Monday. I just play with them and then show you guys how good it is. So let's kick off. Unintended. All right, housekeeping. As we go, add any questions that you've got into the comments, starting with #question. That makes it really easy for us to identify what's a question and what might just be a comment or a chat between people. We'll collate the questions and answer them either at a point through the webinar at certain points, depending on how we're running for time, or at the end. If we don't get to all of the questions, another good thing about having them in the comments is we can cover them afterwards. We can record a little video or we can put them into an email for you and send back any answers. If we don't know the answer to something, we'll come back to you. All right. So have we got people? Everybody seems to be in now, Paul, and good. Awesome. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is Paul. Paul is my co-host today. He is our ops manager, awesome human, extremely organized, and got most of the back-end work for this stuff done so that things like links work. All right. So as a thank you for people giving us an hour of your time, because we know it's valuable, we're going to give you back 3 hours. So you get access to exclusive Monday training sessions, usually only held for our enterprise clients, our Monday.com enterprise clients. We run these once a quarter. We run a beginner session, an advanced session, and an account admin session. To price them up, they'd be worth about $1,500 there. And it's a live session, so it's great for you and your team to jump in, ask questions as well. It's not just a recorded webinar. It is very interactive. We go into whatever it is you guys on that call on that day need to learn about. And we've split them up into those 3. You can come to all 3. You can come to just 1 or 2, completely up to you. And how you get the invitations for those is that link or that QR code right there to book in a chat with us. Book in a chat with us from this webinar, and you'll also get the invites to the next round of training sessions, which is really great for you and your team, especially if you are just getting started with Monday or you're just wanting to see what's new, because we know a lot has changed recently. So we'll also pop that link into the chat for everybody. Paul, if we can do that, we'll do it a couple of times throughout. Or if you've got your phone, take a picture of the QR code. And when you do go into the form to book your session with us, make sure you select time tracking webinar as the how did you hear about us to make sure you do get those invites to those exclusive training sessions. All right. Get to know us. I already covered off a little bit about what we do, but that's our team there. Awesome team. We're all pretty friendly bunch, I'd like to say. We've got people all over Australia. We've got New Zealand. We've got everywhere, really. It's a great little team, great bunch to work with. And you'll find that working with a team like this on your Monday stuff, we've had so much feedback that clients just feel supported from every angle, from, sales through to tech, through to project management and beyond. So that's us. All right, the time tracking options. First one we're going to start with is the one that is whole thing there, the Monday.com native option. Now, this is the one that's already in your Monday, and our implementation specialists, their feedback on it and mine as well is that it's nice and simple. It's already there. It's easy to use. It tracks how long an item is open for. So, you could have it starting your tracking when a client makes an inquiry and a new lead drops in. How long has that one been sitting there? You can use it for how long have people been working on a job. So I'll show you through some of that in some of the recordings. It's great for small teams. It's really good for people who are just getting into time tracking, who just want some of the basics, don't want anything too complicated, don't necessarily need, all of the bells and whistles. They just need something that tracks time, has a button that does it, and gets the job done. That's what this one's for. So again, it's really good for quick and easy to start. It's got a timer button. You can log time entries manually as well. So it's not just about the timer. So if you forget to log something, you can go back and do it afterwards, like I tend to do all the time. Because it is native, it works really nicely with automations to start and stop it. It's free. It is exportable depending on how you have your boards set up. You can log from the column or item view. So depending on how you prefer to use Monday, your team might prefer to, just click in the columns and have it in that table view. Or you might prefer to, on each item, actually open up the item and in the item view, use it there. There's also, and I will show you through a quick screen recording of this, it's so easy from the mobile app as well. So if you're using the Monday mobile app, this one is kind of a no-brainer for that if, it ticks all of your other boxes. The cons. It is simple. It is easy. There's not a lot to it. That's not really built for scalability. So if you've got, a couple of hundred people and you're looking at using this to complete their timesheets and, break it down into whether something is cost or not cost, this isn't the one for you. Your reporting is kind of restricted to, as I say, just what time has been spent on an item. So saying that, it's just about how long something has been open, how long somebody has been working on something, or how long something has taken. It's not so much about trying to work out all of the other stuff that we'll go through in some of the others. You can only export per task. So again, this comes back to the scalability. If you've got heaps and heaps of data that you want to track on, this one's probably not the one for you. Any additional functions would need to be built in manually. So again, because it does work quite nicely with the native automations and with everything else that you've got running in Monday, you can probably make it a fair bit more complex than it is, but you got to do that yourself by building out different automations or formulas or columns, things like that. It's not suitable when a breakdown of users or type is required. So if there's a task open, and I'll show you this in a sec, if there's a task open and I click go on the timer, and then I click stop an hour later, and then Paul comes in and clicks go that he's working on it now, and he clicks stop an hour later, it just shows that 2 hours have been timed. It doesn't show that I did 1 hour and Paul did another hour. It can be a little bit tricky to track on sub items. It is doable. It's more of a little workaround than something that sort of comes easily to it though. All right, this is a little video I did showing you how it works. But what we might do is hit pause on that for a sec and see if my streaming works nicely. And rather than watching a video, let me run you through it live. All right, can you guys see my Monday screen now? Yep. All right. So we've put together a little bit of a sandbox, a little bit of a mock-up here. Not everything in here works as far as all of the other Monday features and automations and things that could be put into these. These are purely to show you the time tracking options. It's not to show you everything about Monday. So the native time tracking. This is a example of, it's a very, very simple dashboard. For items or tasks that are assigned to Lachlan, this is how many hours have been tracked against those. Really all it is. But in saying that, because it is just a regular column in your Monday, you could bring in a lot more into your reporting or your dashboards there. But this is kind of where it starts. Now, if you've worked with us before, you'll know that we do a lot of things with what we call high-level board, low-level board. So in this case, your high-level board or almost your summary type board or your management board is your projects board. And then underneath that, you've got your tasks board, which is where all the work happens. So we've got 2 projects here, and we can see multiple tasks assigned to each one of those. So item 1, item 3, da da da. So we can either click into them through here, or we can go down to the board to see the tasks, and that's where I'll take you for now. This is it here. What you see here, time tracking, you'll see the little play button, pretty self-explanatory. You hit play, it starts counting. Now, what we built into this, I'll leave that counting, why not? What we built into this as well was, we think that that task is going to take 5 hours. We've already spent 4 hours. That means just under an hour is remaining. So that is using the power of Monday itself and normal Monday formulas and automations to use this data effectively. So really, really nice for that, and knowing, whether something has gone over. So this one here obviously went over because we used 332 hours to do something that should have only taken 3 hours. Now I'm going to guess that somebody just left a timer running there. But so you can see that I've just clicked go there and it has taken it off the remaining hours there. Nice and easy. We've spent just over 4 hours on it. Again, you can do it from item view as well. There's your item card. We've only got the one thing in here just to show it to you how it is, and you can track your time there. Again, same button. You can add a session manually as well, and you can see that a number of us have been in here playing around. And this is where I was saying before, you can export, but only at item level. So you can't export everything from a board unless you're actually pulling the data as you normally would in Monday into somewhere to actually report from. But you can export one tracking log for one item here. So you can add a session in here. Say I can say that last Tuesday I spent an hour, add session, and that one has added itself into there for me. So if I go back now to over here, that's changed to 5 hours. So it automatically updated. Now we are over our hours. You can add some pretty conditional formatting in there if you want to. You can always click to go back to the project. That's just your regular, linking boards. And over here, we have set up a bit of a workload, widget to sort of show you how it can look here. See, again, we can click on what items Lachlan has on and see, all right, so that's what he's working on at the moment. It's taken 5 hours already. So again, really good if you've got small teams. Doesn't work so well with your bigger teams because, again, anybody can click go on these items. Okay, so that is our native tracking, and here this expected hours spent, this updates from the items. So you don't have to manually update the project, you just update the items that you're working on, automatically comes back up to the project at this high level view. So you can see that. But what I want to show you now is what I said before was really cool, which was the mobile app. So that's what it looks like on mobile. Same little button in the column, click go from your phone, click pause, and you're done. Nice and easy. It's super intuitive because it's just a play button. Same thing if you open up the item itself. It's all there. Time tracking, just hit the button. You can see how many remaining hours, estimated, everything that you can see. And it is the time tracking is functional from there as well, which I really like. So if you're after something relatively simple and you've got a small team, you're just wanting to track some time, the Monday native one is pretty good for that. So we're done with the Monday native one now. Anybody got any questions on that one they want to chuck into the chat if we want to cover it while it's fresh in everybody's mind? No? All right. So just reminding you again, if you book a session with us, then you get this. And there's the link again, even though it is in the chat. All right, Tracket. Tracket is one of the additional apps that you can buy. This one is a paid one. Now, Tracket is really good for that sort of detailed reporting and larger teams. I'll show you why in a sec, but it's better for those organizations, like I said before, that have multiple staff, multiple teams, wanting to actually track their hours, timesheet it, that kind of thing. That's where Tracket really comes into its own. Again, that timesheet submission and approval process, it takes some of that HR work or payroll work makes it really, really easy. You can track billable versus non-billable time. You can report on time across multiple boards. Again, really good when you've got teams working on multiple projects, multiple things, day-to-day items, and you're just wanting to track what time they spend where and doing what. This is kind of cool, save combinations. When I first saw it, I thought it was a little bit kitsch, but it's actually pretty cool. So if you've got a staff member who regularly does the same sorts of things, or a role or a team that regularly does the same sorts of things, you can actually save, they're almost like templates or saved combinations. So you can make it even easier for yourself, or they can make it even easier for themselves to actually log their time, because we know, and I know I'm the worst at it for logging my own time as well. Remembering to hit that go button, remembering to hit that stop button, remembering to actually track what it's against. And Paul is laughing in the background there because he's the one that has to chase me up for it every single week. The easier you can make it for someone, the better. And this makes it easy for those big teams. You've got mirrored information, so you can move from board to board, from workspace to workspace. You can set custom schedules, you can set up workloads, and I'll show you some of that. But first, a couple of the cons. Everything has cons, right? Time entry views can be slow to load. Now, when the implementation specialist, when our tech guys told me this, I thought, oh, they're probably thinking slow to load is, half a second because they are all but it actually is a little bit slow. Even for me, even when I've got nothing else running on the computer, I did find it a little bit slow to load there. So I think that's an app thing rather than a Monday or an internet issue on our side there, because a few of us have found that. The Tracket app, when you install it, is automatically added to every board. So be aware of that when you install it. It goes everywhere. You might want to warn your team, especially if you've got any teams within your workspaces that aren't going to be using this, don't know you've got it coming. You might want to give them a little bit of a heads up if they start seeing it throughout their workspaces and boards. When you go into the item view for something, it actually shows all time logs recorded on items. Now, that can be a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because everything's all in one place per item. Not such a great thing, if you don't want certain people seeing what other people have done, or teams seeing what other people have done, that kind of thing. So there could be a little bit of a privacy issue there, just if you do have those sort of Chinese walls in place, as to say. The admin can be a little bit confusing to set up. I didn't even fully get my head around it when I was going through it. I'm more of a user than an admin though, as I said at the beginning. So I'd probably, if I was going to put this into place, and if I was doing it, myself within a business, I'd probably book a call with the Tracket team, or book an onboarding call and see if I can get them to run me through it. It is a bit of a con that your pricing does align with your Monday.com account size. So that comes back to it being added to all boards as well. There is that even if you only want to use this for 1, 2, or 3 of your teams, and you've got 10 teams out there, everybody gets it. So you don't sort of have a choice of limiting your pricing down to, okay, well, we only need 5 seats, or we only need 10 seats to actually use this. You don't get a choice. It's whatever your Monday.com account size is. So it could be a little bit more expensive than you need there if you don't need it across the whole organization. All right, little recording I did. This is showing what it looks like. But again, seeing as my internet's running nicely, I might do what I did before and bring it up. All right, so we are on Tracket. So I'm just going to get rid of the native time tracking one. Tracket. All right, so we've set it up fairly similar on each one of these, just to show you how it works with a high-level board, low-level board. Go to our main table. This is what we all feel fairly comfortable with. Again, pretty similar to before. We've got our project, and then we've got our tasks against, hours expected, hours spent. All of that is just your normal Monday stuff, remaining hours. Then over here, you've got your timesheet. Now, again, this is where it's a little slow to load, see? I feel like playing elevator music just for that second. Only a second, but with IT stuff, you kind of expect it to be pretty quick. If I go back, this will show me. There we go. This will show me my timesheet. So this is a custom view. This will show me my timesheet for different weeks or different months. I could choose the whole month if I wanted to. I think, nope, we're on weekly. Oh, we're on weekly. This is where you've got your combinations. So if you know that if you're working on, a task for a certain project, you need to have that and that in there. You can save that combination and there we go, favorite it, You can change it, change the items, that kind of thing. But we're not going to do that right now, so let go of it, please. There we go. All right, so where are we? I'm trying to remember what dates I actually did track something. There we go. I've tracked something there. Um, so in here, back on Thursday the 11th, I tracked 3 hours against task 5, and I set that as a billable. So I can open that up from here. Task 5, there it is, opening up the Tracket log on that actual item. And there we go. There's that 3 hours that I put in there. Okay, I can edit it and I can delete it because it's my own. I can filter if I wanted to filter, or I can start adding more time to that item, to that project. So that's what it looks like when you actually log your time. You can go back in time and log, add your category, billable, non-billable, fast, whatever it might be. You can add custom categories in there, however many hours it is. So I'll add 2 hours in there, and I will say demo log time. I do have to choose a category. There we go. Nice little hint there if you forget to fill something in, and log the time. So we saw that pop up down here, and you'll also see that then coming into my timesheet when I bring that back up. So my timesheet lives up here, and there's that couple of seconds of radio silence again. There we go. There's that 2 hours that I just logged today. I can add from here as well if I wanted to. I can find my boards. I can search if I've got lots and lots of boards like I do. You can see here. I can do a search, or I can choose a project, choose a sub item if I had sub items there, choose a category, how many hours, and write a description again if I wanted to. And that adds that in there. All right, now I can submit my timesheet to my manager here. So when you are in the admin settings, which I won't go into because on this account I don't have permission into the full admin settings, you can submit your timesheet to your manager, which is amazing, right? So at the end of every week, you just set yourself up with a reminder to submit your timesheet in, and it's done. You can also go back and see reports based on, categories, combinations, all sorts of different filters in there with your timesheet. So you can start to get really granular on that if you want to, or just use it as a timesheet. The project summary, again, this is back to projects rather than me as a human. I can see here, that on each of these projects, I've still got some time remaining in there of hours expected. We're getting pretty close on project 3. We've only got an hour left on that one there. Just an example of how you can use it in your dashboards. So go down to the task board, very similar to what I showed you on the native one. Again, we've got how many hours logged, remaining hours. Open up the task and it brings that up that I showed you a minute ago. There we go, where you can log your time or you can see past time. So I can see here that Elena has actually logged, and this is what I said before about that privacy thing. I can see that she's logged an hour of billable time against this task. Everybody can see everybody else's in there. Time log. Again, this is just us getting a little bit creative with some dashboards. You can see, as with most Monday data, you can see everything in so many different ways, depending on how your brain works, how your organization works, how you want to see things. Here I can see, that on March 25th, the week of March 25th, projects, who is a human in our world, and Lachlan did all the work, and that's how much work they did. I can see that, hey, the week of April the 8th, I did heaps. Come on. Week of April 15th, it looks like we all took the week off apart from Elena. So you can start to see that sort of, nice breakdown, nice look of, all right, so where's our time going? Where's our, from a management perspective, where's our money going? And then you've got your normal timeline type view in here where, you can click through and actually open up the time log. Now the time logs do come with these weird numbers. That's just making them, it's a little unique identifier there. But it's just a nice way of going, well, hang on a second, Anastasia has logged a bunch of time here. What is it? So I can see that it's demo, non-billable, and everything there. And that's come from there, which are all of our logs in a not so pretty format. Really good if you're exporting though. Really, really good. If you are, say, sending it through to Xero or something like that, you can export that out to Excel just as a table, just as it is. And then that could be really handy for your, big chunk of work. That could be really handy for your payroll to have there. Workload. Very similar to what I showed you on the other screen. If you've got any questions about the workload widget separately, let us know. I won't run right into this, but the idea is if a day sort of looks like this with nothing in it, there's nothing assigned to that person or they didn't actually track any work. If it looks like this, if it's blue, they are pretty busy. It's light blue with a little tiny blue, that means they've done some work, but they are not at their capacity yet. If it starts to turn red, which I don't have any of there, means they are overworked. But I believe we've even got a short YouTube video on that. So check that out if you want to know more about that. So that's the most of there from sort of this perspective. We won't go right into the admin settings. One, I don't have access on this account, but two, that would take far, far too long. To get through all of the admin settings and show you all of the different stuff that can potentially be done. But yeah, the main thing that we wanted to show you there was the timesheet part, because I really do think that that is one of the big bonuses of Tracket is this timesheet. It feels intuitive. It feels like what you're used to when you're logging time for a timesheet. So when it comes to your stuff, and again, using things like this is easy. You can add time from here. You can add time from your different items. You can make combinations if you want to, and just submit it straight from here. No exporting, making it into a PDF and sending it on or anything like that. It's just submit straight through. Oh, let's have a look in preferences there. We've got, I actually don't know what that is. I tried turning it off and on and it still looked pretty similar. So if there's anybody from Tracket on the call, please pop it in the chat. New super amazing time input as a setting. Display options, all your standard sort of stuff of how you want to show things, show weekends or not. Do you want to round up? Do you want to not round up? And then this is all of the different little notifications that you can get along the way, all pretty self-explanatory and all for you as a person or as a user. So this is for the person that's actually tracking the time there. All right, any questions on Tracket just yet? No? Everybody's very quiet today. I do wonder whether everybody's eating lunch while we do this. Hey, oh, there we go. I thought we had a question there, but it was actually a video, which I am going to show you now very quickly. That was Lachlan talking. I'd forgotten I asked him to do this. Show me the admin side really nice and quickly. Now, we won't run through the whole thing, but this shows you a quick glimpse of Tracket Monday admin access. There we go. Can you guys hear him or not? All right, so you can't hear him, but I can. But this is what the admin side of Tracket looks like. You've got all of these different things that the admin person can do that obviously the team members can't do. Capacities, work schedules, approval processes, make other people admins of different teams. So, all right, I'm going to move forward a little bit. No, he's actually going to go over now. There we go. You can change what fields show. You can add those categories that I was showing you before, where we had billable, non-billable, BAS. You might break that down even further. You can turn them on, turn them off, that kind of thing. All from there. Make people's work schedules. You can add holidays too. I forgot about that. That's really cool to do automatically. Because even in our own calendars this week, I didn't have Anzac Day in my calendar and I was available. It's nice to have this automatically added in there. So you can also change there if people can go back in and edit their own timesheets or not. And you can turn approval on or off. So if you don't need that approval process, just turn it off so that it makes it nice and simple. You can get your big exports there as CSV. And then that's just your account billing stuff. But that is the admin side of things. Just as a quick look into that, like I say, there's far too much to go through in great detail today, but it gives you a bit of an idea of what you wouldn't have seen when I was running through it live, the bits and pieces that an admin or a manager can actually go in and play with there to make it yours. There is an app. I don't have the app to give you again, I'm saying I don't have a lot of things here, but I don't have the app myself on my phone to give you a good look at it, but I did look up quite a number of reviews of it and people say it's great. It's pretty much like I was saying with the Monday Native app, it's pressing buttons or just entering a time against an item or entering it in, and then you can go back, if your admins allow you, you can go back and add more detail, if you need to, in once you're back on computer, or you can add it from here if you're quite comfortable using your phone for it. But really easy. You can see how much time's already logged. You've got a start stop button. It's just, again, easy. So if you've got a bunch of people, you want something that is fairly customizable, something that is good for different teams, for different levels, for billable, non-billable hours. That's where Tracket comes into its own and has the app as well. So you're not losing out there. Here we go. This is just my little slide to move me on to the next app. What did we have? Okay, I just saw something pop up, but I think that was Roger saying bye. So yes, if you do want access to all of these, use that link. And you'll get some free Monday training where you get to ask a bunch of questions. All right, now 7Pace, another one that we are reviewing today. Now, what did the guys say? They said it's similar to Tracket in terms of organizational size, detailed reporting, and scalability. Good for users that seek a calendar interface. So that's the thing here. So what I just said there, time entries are displayed as time blocks using a calendar interface. So that this all comes down to how you prefer to see your data. I love this. Can log time spent on item or sub item. I'm a sub items fan. I quite like them. Some people are, some people aren't. I like that you can log time spent on a sub item. I find it quite handy there as well to break things down even further. Your dashboard widgets are kind of cool. I'll show you some of those. Multiple people can add time on the same item simultaneously. We can do that with Tracket as well. Actually, no, I don't think we can with Tracket. I'll come back to you on that. But yeah, that just makes it good if you've got a bunch of people working on the same projects all at the same time. I liked the bird's eye views, my time and all times, which are boards that show data from all of your boards that you've got connected. So from a management perspective, being able to just have that quick look, and I'll show you it, is really nice. Easy custom fields, easy categories. It's very much the sort of Monday methodology of you can make it your own. So it feels quite nice to use. It feels comfortable. It doesn't have a super steep learning curve. All right. There's no timer button. So those little start stop buttons that we were using on the other ones, it's not there. Editing and deleting entries are restricted to admins. So you kind of have to make sure that your staff do it right first time. Otherwise, you as an admin are going to be stuck with a bunch of requests going back and saying, can you fix this? I left it going too long, or I added 13 hours instead of 1 hour and 30 minutes, or I did a typo here. So that ability to edit for people to be able to edit their own entries would be kind of nice. There's no approval process, but there is on the roadmap. And I actually really like the way these guys handle customer wish list, and I'll show you that a little bit later. There's no mobile app. It's not available. There's not available on the Monday mobile app yet, but again, that is on their roadmap. So I wouldn't necessarily discard this because of either of those things. And just like with the last one, all users can see all times logged. So there is that possibility there if you do have certain things that you do want kept hidden. Not so easy on this one. I did another video there, but I'm going to show you live again. Hey, where are we? We are in 7Pace now. See, we've actually got a few more boards here, and two of those you'll see have the little 7Pace icon next to them or logo next to them, and they were those bird's eye view that I mentioned before. So again, this looks pretty similar to those high-level, low-level boards where we've got tasks. But what we can see here is we've put in the different rate and the planned budget. So you can start to turn hours into dollars. Again, our planned hours spent, total hours. Exactly what we're used to from the other ones there. We've got a couple of task board here because we were testing doing things different ways. Here's the sub items bit. You can do it on, give it a sec. You can do it on sub items. Makes me really excited because I quite like it. Again, what I said before, there's no start stop button, but there are these little buttons with preset times, which is kind of cool. So I will save that in there. There we go. I spent 1 hour preparing that scenario. And that was on the sub item, which was really cool. You can see I've played with the sub item a fair bit because there's 24 hours been spent on it of me adding different things. Again, you can click back up to your project if you need to. Go to a different one. I hope there's some hours actually against this one. No, there's not. But we've got 8 hours planned, 8 hours remaining. I like that interface. I like being able to see that just in that really nice one spot there. And again, I can add half an hour there if I want to. I can change the date there too. I can't track for somebody else though in there. So we can start to see there's that total hours spent. I just added that half hour in there. Taskboard 2 we had set up a little differently from memory. We started to put some deadline stuff in there, but then for this demo decided not to do that. But we do have sub item in there again as well. So very similar. So it's just a different board. There. So again, you can do it from each item individually, and that comes back up to your projects where we've got how many hours spent and then the budget spent. So we've gone 31 times 30, 930. So we can see that we can turn that into dollars. Now we could format that as a dollars column if we wanted to make that a little bit clearer there. Dashboard that the guys built using, see where we've got the little icons there? This is using some of their custom widgets as well as some of our own stuff. So we can see based on whatever filters we've got going, we've spent 13 hours. We've got 273 remaining. That's again one of the 7-pace ones there. On that new website, we've done 4 lots of hours for a total of 7. So, sorry, 4 tracking sessions for a total of 7 against that one. This is just showing you the types of widgets and types of dashboards that you can build. And most of this is just normal Monday stuff, just pulling in the information from the entries that you've put in through 7-pace. So you can see there, you've got the different tasks there. Again, normal Monday stuff, budget planned, different ways of showing that, hours spent versus hours planned. Export, just like I showed you on the last one, this is what it can look like when it's exported, just that really sort of Excel-y style table where everything doesn't look super pretty, but it's all the exact same data we were looking at before, just in a way that you can export it and chuck it into MYOB or Xero. My time. This one is kind of cool because this is where that timesheet sits. So instead of having your timesheet and your time sitting in as a tab inside a board like it was for Tracket, this one, kind of cool, has its own spot and really easy to see as well because, again, it's got that little icon there. So super easy for your users. I just find that a really nice UX to come in. You can see whether something was a sub item. That's the sub items bit that I love again. I spent half an hour photo shoot and an hour preparing scenario. And again, as with everything Monday, if I click on something, it takes me straight to it. Beauty of Monday. So I can add time from here. I can choose a sub item or an item from that board. I can look for a different board. Again, I've got a few hundred, so I'm not going to run you through all of them, but I could go that. I'm not going to hit save because I actually don't know which board that is. I think that's our proper boards. But I could make it a time frame from that time. I can go backwards in date. I can add comments, all sorts of things there to have that tracked. Timesheet was empty. There we go. That week was a week where I did a lot of mock-up testing there. I can see, just a nice little timesheet view. And then I can jump back to current week if I want to. Again, this is where I said before, it has that calendar view. I can even click and drag things around, which is handy, and it'll make that change everywhere else. I can add time directly from here. This is all just about what I said before, people seeing things the way they like to work or the way they like to see things, which is what most of us love about Monday anyway. I often use the example of some people love Kanban view, some people hate it. The beauty of Monday, you can have both with the same data and the same information moves from spot to spot. So, if you've got somebody who hates Kanban view and somebody that absolutely loves it, or someone that likes your calendar view and somebody that hates it, you can use both. It's the same data everywhere. That's not like somebody going, no, I prefer to track things in my calendar because that's what makes sense to me. And then another person going, I'm going to put it into a spreadsheet and send it to you at the end of the month. It's all here. All times, nice handy one for managers. You can see everybody's times. Log times, what workspace it was in, the parent item, the date. You can copy all of that to another board if you want to, just with a single button, which is really nice. You've got your filters up here of your times and dates, your normal filters there. Person is this, or your group is this. You've got all of your normal Monday style filters there. You can sort by person, sort by date, sort by how long. So it's a really nice way. That's that bird's eye view that I was speaking about before of, I've got current month there. I could do the last month. I can do just this week, seeing where my staff are actually spending their time straight away there. So that's nice. You can export it straight away there as well. So just a single button. Employee list. This is one way of doing it, where you've got your employees in as an item in here where we start to add roles and rates, which is really cool. Where say Alex is a designer and he charges out at $30 per hour. And that's how we got these budget amounts. So we know that if Alex, I think it was, yep, if Alex is working on this project, it's costing 30 an hour out of the project dollars. Whereas if Max starts working on the project because we need a developer to jump in, that's going to cost $50 an hour, and we'll start to see that we are going over budget, or we don't have as many hours left because we're eating up into it dollars wise. So you can actually start to assign those roles, which are in another board here just to show you. You can start to assign those roles to different humans to know just how much should be charged out to the client, depending on who's tracking the time against the item. All right, that I think was pretty much it. Yeah, I showed you through the dashboard, didn't I? The export example, that's what it looks like when it's exported. So that is 7Pace. Now, 7Pace is Tracket, good for those bigger teams, good for those bigger organizations, or people who really rely on tracking their staff's time. So you might only be small, but you might need this level of needing to add hours to, what type of person is tracking, or needing to add those, not hours, sorry, add dollars to the hours. That kind of thing is really easy in here, and being able to really sort of make it yours in that way. So I think we've covered this. I wanted to show you, this is what I said before about this company is really good at listening to customer requests and actually getting it done. So similar to what Monday kind of does. They've got their roadmap out. It's public. What's planned or requested, what's in progress, under construction, release. This is where somebody might have requested something, and then you can vote on it as a person who uses it. Is there something that you want as well? Yeah. If you think it's pretty critical, hit critical and they'll start listening. They'll prioritize it. I read quite a few things about people actually really appreciating that the business does this. And I think that's really important when you're choosing something that costs money and something for a business that you're going to implement across the business, is knowing that, all right, so it might not have this feature here, but it's on its way. Here are some under consideration, some that, and it's split up, but you can go in there and have a look. You can submit ideas, you can do a search. Personally, I find that really good. It shows that they're proactive, it shows that they are listening, and it shows that it's only going to get better. So that is it for that one. Any questions on 7Pace? Paul, can you think of anything that I might have skipped over there? Possibly too detailed, but hey, we'll see. We do only have 10 minutes left, but I almost deliberately did that because Clockwork is, I like it, but it is simple compared to the two big ones, which are your Tracket and your 7Pace. Clockwork is easy. It's free. It's pretty flexible. It's just, again, easy. It takes a couple of seconds to set up. It takes seconds to use. It uses the Monday time tracking button. So you're already familiar with that. So it integrates with the native time tracking field, but it adds to that. So if you were kind of keen on the Monday native one, but you wanted a few extra bits and didn't feel like building them yourself, you might find that they're covered in here in Clockwork. I like it because, especially for your small businesses or your businesses where you're not necessarily hinging every single thing on very, very specific breakdown tracking, it's free. It's easy to use. I like it. Again, that's one of the cons as well, though. It is very simple. It is a bit basic. You don't have things like configuring categories, billing tags, that kind of thing. It doesn't come with an approval process. The data exporting, I didn't try it, but everybody who has tried it that I've spoken to said it's not that clean or easy to manipulate the data once it comes out. So there might be some workarounds there for that, but that's probably the one bit that's a little bit more complex than the rest with this one. With the native time tracking, the integrating is only one way. So it's only from the native time tracker across to Clockwork, not the other way around. So if you're using the Clockwork tracker, which I'll show you in a sec, in the item, and you're expecting the native time tracking column to update, it won't. So for reporting or for trust or your source of truth, you need to use the Clockwork numbers that are coming out rather than the native one, because it is only one way. And I'm going to do what I've done every other time. And there we go. I'm going to bring up Clockwork. There we go. Again, low-level board, projects board, tasks board, the way we like to do things around here. There's our tasks, there's our plan, there's our effort spent. All looks pretty familiar. I'm going to go into a task. We've got a time tracker there. That's the native time tracker. That's the one that we showed you first. Then we come across to Clockwork, and we can see where Clockwork starts coming into its own. And I can see here that I actually created something using the native time tracker. It does tell me how it was created. If I start a timer in here and put a note against it, I can put testing, admin, no description, whatever it can be. Or I can, again, just use the native one and it pushes through to the timesheet as well, which is nice and handy. I can add time in the past, or I can use it as a timer. This is cool though. And this is just knowing your Monday automations, because it does work nicely with the automations. Automatically created work log. I know here that Lockie, who did this for me, I know that he actually made that hour happen based on an automation. So he might have set up an automation that, as soon as this is assigned to me, it starts tracking. Or as soon as it assigns to me and I change the status to working on it, it starts tracking. So you can start to use your Monday automations to take away some of the clicks, as it might be. But Clockwork really is kind of that simple. There's not much more to it, which I like. I can see my timesheet, which is what the native one doesn't have, which this adds to it. So I can go back. I probably had some between there to there. There we go. There was an hour on the 11th. I can click into that and see what it was. So I can see my work log list there. My working hours, my timers. So this is handy. Again, if anybody here is like me and tends to click go on a timer and then leave it running for 3 days, you can go in here and check, and you can actually close all of the running ones that you've got going from one place. Really handy. Gantt chart, which is your normal sort of thing. In your Clockwork settings, you can go into the features or how to use, which is nice. They do all have that, but it was through there that I found that page. I'll link you to showing everything that's on the roadmap. So that's why I wanted to highlight that there. You can filter by boards. You can break it down by users and items, and you've got your normal sort of filters up at your top level there. But that's really all there is to Clockwork. It basically takes the native time tracking and adds in some of the features from the big guys, your 7Pace and your Tracket, just to expand on it a little bit. So if you were sort of looking at the native one and going, I kind of like it, but I kind of want timesheets, there you go. But you didn't need necessarily all of the complex stuff from Tracket or 7Pace. But Tracket and 7Pace definitely each have their spots for those bigger businesses, or businesses where this is absolutely crucial to have those breakdowns in particular. All right. And there we go. I think I've done it with 4 minutes to spare. There we go. Just everybody remember, if you book in a call based on this, I'll bring the link up again in a second, you get access to 3 live 1-hour Zoom sessions with us, beginner, advanced, and account admin. You can attend, and your team can attend all 3, just 1, just 2, whatever's of interest to you. They are live sessions, not pre-recorded, so you get to ask a bunch of questions of us. Really, really nice just to, get your team in a room, or get a few of you there and start to get a feel for Monday, or get from the horse's mouth what updates have come out recently, what new features there are, how do I use this? I saw this had changed, because Monday has done a lot of changes lately. So it's good to keep on top of that sort of stuff. And that's if you book in a discovery call with us. Now, discovery call is where we sit down, most likely myself or Kaya or Elena, one of our sales team, will sit down with you, go through how you want to use Monday, what you want to get out of Monday, how you're already using Monday, and how can we make it better for you. Is it training that you're going to need? Is it an optimization? Is it a full setup from scratch that you need? Or if you're thinking about making the change from, say, pro up to enterprise, how's that going to affect what you're doing? How much is it going to cost? Because we know that pricing's not on the Monday website, but we do have it. So if any of that sounds like something you just want to have a chat about, you want to go through what we might be able to do for you, what we do, what we've done in the past, book in a call there. We give you about 45 minutes to an hour of time there. So you get that time as well as the 3 free training sessions that we went through before. And there we go. I am done on time. Any questions?
No questions recorded so far.
It has been very quiet, this one today. It does make me wonder whether everybody's eating their lunch. If anybody does have any questions, please do let us know. Reach out. My email address or our contact form is everywhere. So reach out. It'll be one of us that you saw on that one of those previous screens with all those lovely photos that comes back to you. And we'll answer what we can, or we'll find out the information for anything we might not know off the top of our heads. But definitely book in a call or a chat. It's no obligation. And you might even just have 45 minutes of trying to work out what you do want to use Monday for. Because as we all know, Monday is huge, can be used for so many things. It can be handy just to chat it through and talk about what you might be able to make use of it for there. But if there are no questions, I got it done in time. 2 minutes to go. I'm quite proud of that because there was a lot to go through. I probably rushed through a few bits, but that's what you can book a call to go through us with. So I'll leave it at that. If we're
Thanks a
all
lot.
good, Paul. Yep, we are. Awesome. All right. Thank you.